It is conventional when one is invited to a summit like this one to begin by saying that it's a matter of a great honor and privilege to be there, to be speaking to such a diverse audience. But for me, the India Inclusion Summit has a deeply personal resonance. Kalpana and I are parents to two daughters, Priyanka and Mahi, who have a condition called Nemaline myopathy. Well, over the last decade and more, we have lived every moment with them, confronting the challenges, not just the medical challenges of Nemaline myopathy, but the social challenges which are posed by a condition like this. Being parents to two wonderful girls, daughters, who have Nemaline myopathy, our universe has changed. Our universe has changed in understanding the true concerns, the anxieties, the needs, the challenges, and the opportunities before similarly situated individuals. They have a mind of their own, though they have significant physical barriers. Their minds are so sharp that they can teach me many, many things on modern technology. They can converse with me on issues, sometimes which surprise me, which is just a reminder to us not to look at disability from a lens of charity, but from a perspective of rights. From that perspective, the India Inclusion Summit has, since 2012, rendered, to say the least, an extraordinarily crucial role in changing the face of disability in India and globally, and the way in which humanity looks at others who have some form of disability or the other. The initiative, called Everyone is Good at Something, is truly remarkable because undoubtedly all of us are good at something, and those who suffer from some form of disability are no exception to that rule. The fellowship is another one of the very significant initiatives which the foundation has adopted. This year's fellows, for instance, bring a diverse set of talents using technology, innovation, art, communication, and expression to make the lives of those who suffer from disability or have some form of disability more dignified, consistently with our constitutional values. The Art for Inclusion Fellowship and the Let's Include initiative are truly innovative in their own way. All these initiatives which have been adopted by the foundation have brought together vital stakeholders, persons who have some form of disability, their families and friends, and multiple other significant elements of society, including communicators, policymakers, change makers, scientists, and social activists. In my brief presentation to the summit this morning, I want to dwell on some critical issues of our time which need to be addressed. First, leadership, particularly in bringing about a change on the ground on matters of disability, is about collaboration. Disability is not something only for the disabled, just as gender is not something only for women. Like gender, disability has one thing in common, which is that it is a concern for the whole of society, and we need to collaborate together in roles of leadership to bring about real change on the ground. The second important facet which we need to emphasize is that bringing dignity and dignified lives to those who have disability is crucial as a matter of right and not to be regarded as a matter of charity. In giving realization to the rights of those who have some form of disability, we are not doing a favor to them, but allowing these individuals to realize their fundamental entitlements as constitutional citizens of an order, a constitutional order, which recognizes and confers rights upon them. The universe of disability is not uniform. Within disability, there is a narrative of almost infinite different forms, ideas, thoughts, and conditions. The third important aspect which we need to emphasize is that while we deal with matters of disability, it is important to understand that disability is not just a medical concept. The barriers to the disabled are not medical barriers as much as social barriers. These barriers are erected by society. They are not barriers which are inherently something which the disabled have created. And therefore, the first and foremost step which we need to take as a society to deal with the concerns of the disabled is to ensure that we lift the social barriers which society has erected in the realization of dignified lives for them. The law in India has moved from a state of oblivion gradually into a state of progressive prominence. The Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act speaks of the need for reasonable accommodation. Now, reasonable accommodation is again a matter of right. For me, my journey as a judge over the last 25 years has brought focus through individual stories of justice and injustice, hardship, suffering, and hope, in creating a new narrative for disability in the movement towards greater inclusion. Whether it is a plea of a young individual suffering from 88% disability who claimed admission to medical college and got that admission with an order of the Supreme Court under the belt, whether it is a case of an individual suffering from a writer's cramp who had been denied assistance of a writer at an examination for appearing at the civil services examination, whether it was a film which depicted pejorative humor while dealing with people suffering from disability, whether it was a case of redesigning our public infrastructure. All these cases have come to the Supreme Court and have laid the groundwork of a more just society. We have now affirmatively held in the Supreme Court that a visually disabled candidate, someone who suffers from even 100% disability, is not disqualified from becoming a judge. All these decisions of the Supreme Court have paved the way for a more inclusive India and society, domestically and later beyond borders. But I think that a lot of work still remains to be done. Though we have progressed a lot, there is so much still ahead, and there are miles before we can say that we have truly achieved the dream of an inclusive nation for persons who suffer from disability. Baba Amte, who did so much of work in leprosy, said that a human being can survive without fingers, but a human being cannot survive without self-respect. So our work in matters of disability is not about just being kind or compassionate. It's about empowering those who are disabled to realize their rights. It is about allowing them a space and creating a space for them where truly they can realize their dreams and aspirations. I think this is a part of our fundamental constitutional tenets. Equality as a principle under the Constitution, the right to life and personal liberty as a fundamental constitutional tenet, the right to free speech and expression as a cardinal constitutional value, the freedom of conscience, which has been underlined by our Constitution, can have little meaning unless each of these constitutional precepts and values has true meaning for those who have some form of disability or the other. From my own example of leading a life with our two beautiful daughters, I know how deeply they are affected when toilets have no access for them, where public footpaths are not designed for human beings on wheelchairs, as our daughters are, where society looks at them askance as they pass by in public places, as if to say that you are different from us. They may be different from others at a certain level, but they share the same humanity, the same element of divinity which animates each one of us in society. My congratulations to Mr. Firoz and the entire organizing team of the India Inclusion Summit in their quest to ensure that we are truly an inclusive and plural society. The measure of our progress and development will be judged by how persons with disability navigate both our private and public spaces in the nation and beyond. Thank you very much.